Hi guys, this is Jesse with Canine Perspective, back with another Monday vlog. Today's topic, don't get too comfortable with your dog. So, I've heard a lot of stories over the course of my dog training years. A lot of them are just people that think that their dogs aren't capable of doing harm, either because they're small or they're like the friendliest dog ever type of stuff. And unfortunately that is not true. Every dog is capable of doing harm. I don't care if it's a golden retriever, I don't care if it's a little like teacup Maltese, it doesn't matter. If your dog has teeth, if your dog has a mouth, if your dog is alive, it is capable of doing harm. A few weeks back, to talk about a home where there was a lady with a pit bull and 3 Yorkies. One of the Yorkies bit the other Yorkies on the throat. Yorkie bled out, died. Right? I get people who actually, so years ago, had a client whose sister had a German Shepherd since it was 2 months old, so 8 weeks. Raised it, since a puppy. The dog was like 5 years old or something, and she was like, and ironically, she was bragging to whoever she was talking to about how she could do anything to her dog, that her dog trusted her, and all that stuff. And the dog is sleeping on the couch, and she goes and grabs the dog's face and puts her face in his face, and the dog mauled her. And because that's not about, she got too comfortable. She's talking about trust. Has nothing to do with trust. Your dog was sleeping, you startled your dog, and your dog had no other option but to, or had no other thought but to react, because dogs are reactionary animals. They're not proactive, they're reactive, and mauled her face. That's what happens when you put too much faith and trust in your dog. I don't even do that to my dogs. They don't think like we do. And you have to understand, like, what are you gonna do if all of a sudden you wake up and someone's hands over your face? You're gonna freaking freak out. So what do you think your dog's gonna do? It's not a matter of trust. It's a matter of not being stupid and doing something like that. So, the other thing is, like, people letting their dogs out in the yard without supervision, and then all of a sudden one of the dogs attacks the other dog. Nobody knows what happened because nobody was watching. They were like, oh, we've had these dogs forever, let's put one in the yard, or let's put them both in the yard, because there's never been a problem. Just because there's never been a problem doesn't mean there won't be a problem. I am always with my dogs. I am always watching my dogs, because that's the world they live in. If one day my dog's like, hey, I'm having a bad day, and is easily provoked, it can happen. It's not like they don't have bad days either. Just like us, any little thing could tick us off. Same thing for them. They could be on edge that day. They could, I don't know, be uncomfortable, or something's going on, you don't know. And then something just pushes them the wrong way and they unload. Or maybe it's years of like one dog just pestering and pestering and pestering, and then you're like, oh, my dog's so sweet, would never do anything bad, would never fight back. And then one day all that pestering just sets that dog over the edge, and the dog goes postal and unloads all those years of being antagonized on that dog. Does it make your dog aggressive? No, it just means your other dog was being a jerk and finally learned his lesson. So all dogs need structure, all dogs need discipline. I don't care if you have a golden retriever, I don't care if you have a pit bull, I don't care if you have a Cane Corso, I don't care if you have a teacup Yorkie. Your dog needs structure and your dog needs discipline. I don't care how sweet the personality is, your dog needs structure. And structure doesn't just entail what's happening to them. structure entails what's happening. I'm sorry, what they're doing. Like, oh, don't bark at other dogs. Yeah, okay, that's structure, that's a rule. Don't bite other dogs, don't bite people, don't lunge. Like, yeah, that's structure. But then there's also the structure of what's happening around them. So if I bring my dogs to the dog park and people got their dogs and whenever everybody's playing, and to give you an example, this was a couple years ago, this is a dog park. My pit bull was playing with this person's puppy. It was a real big puppy. I think it was actually part pit bull and lab. A lot of playful energy. He was probably like 6-7 months, and he was a big guy. He was almost bigger than Lexi. And excuse me, she was done with playing, and she was giving cues. She was showing her. She was lifting her lip and stuff. The puppy wasn't seeing it or was ignoring it. Kept pursuing her. So then I see it. She knows. She comes to me. She sits by my feet, and I go, okay, she's done. Right? Puppy comes back, keeps trying to pursue her. So then I step in and I jab the dog. The dog yelps and moves away. Then he's standing off at a distance and he's watching because he's like, what the heck just happened? And then he decides to come in again. I jab him again. He yelps and he walks away, minds his own business. So, right there, my dog gave me a cue. She sat by my feet. She said, hey, I'm down with this puppy. I was like, all right. Puppy comes. Didn't want to take her signs seriously. So then I took it upon myself, for her sake, and establish a boundary using physical touch, right? The dog's not going to die. I don't care if the dog yelps. If the owner's not going to do anything proactive about their dog's behavior, then I will. Because if that dog kept pestering Lexi, sooner or later she was going to unload. Will she have killed the dog? No. But that's not the point. The point is I have a pit bull, and if she does something like that, people are obviously going to jump straight to some kind of conclusion of your dog's aggressive, you have a pit bull, blah, 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 blah. And I don't want to deal with that BS. I'd rather deal with the BS because I jabbed the dog. But you got to understand, dogs bite each other, right? They bite each other. That's how they settle things. Sometimes they'll kill the other dog. Sometimes they'll maul them half to death. Sometimes it's a quick bite and they're like, all right, you're done. You learned your lesson. You don't know where it's going to go until it's too late. So why let it get there? That's the problem. People wait too long. They let the problem escalate to where it's a shit show. And then they want to try to address it. Really, dude? Like right now, I got this guy on a leash staring at a squirrel as I'm walking, and I correct him. Not a big deal. He didn't die. He's still walking beside me. He's not afraid of me. But I'm saying don't do that stuff when we're walking, because last thing I need him to do is all of a sudden lunge towards that squirrel and pull me along with him. Right? So why am I going to ignore it and let it go to that point? So structure not only entails what does your dog do, it also entails what's going around your dog. So in that case, I was like, all right, here's a puppy. He wants to keep playing. She's done. I'm going to make it a rule right now that he can't play with her anymore. I'm going to establish a boundary and he's going to back off. Right? And then that was it. That was the end of it. He didn't bother her anymore. He learned his lesson. He gave her space. That's all that needs to be done. I had another scenario, and this one didn't work out too well. I was at it's a dog park in the West Loop. I was with a client because she had a dog. She wasn't too sure how he was going to behave at a dog park because he had never been. And he was a very social guy. What are you doing? He's a very social guy. And I'm talking to her. I get sidetracked. Next thing I know, I hear my Chihuahua yelling or screeching, whatever. He's a big baby. And I turn and I see this lady with her pit bull, and the dog's forelegs, the front ones, are completely wrapped around my Chihuahua. The dog's baring teeth and growling and snarling. Like, it was like legit, right? Lady comes over, pulls her dog off by the harness, which I thought he was gonna unload because she was pulling him by the harness. Walks away, doesn't say sorry, doesn't acknowledge me. I just look at her, I'm like, all right, okay, that's how it's gonna be. All right, you don't care about my dog? All right. So she goes back to playing fetch with her dog. I'm keeping a closer eye now, and she throws the ball. The dog's bringing the ball back to her, and I could see it right away. He drops the ball, bypasses her, starts making his way towards my Chihuahua. I saw that beforehand, so I started already walking towards my dog. So by the time he got to anywhere close to him, I was already in the middle, and I kicked the dog in the chest, right? And the dog shuddered, and then like he stopped because he's like, what the heck just happened? The lady flips out on me because I kicked her dog. And I was like, really? I was like, your dog, your 30 to 40 pound pit bull can wrap his forearms around my dog, snarling and baring teeth, and my Chihuahua's 8 pounds, and you're upset because I gave your dog a tap to the chest because you didn't do shit, right? I don't care. Was she upset? Absolutely. She was upset, and I didn't care because my dog's safety comes first. My client's dog safety comes first. That's structure, right? When you're establishing structure, you're telling your dogs, you don't need to worry about anything because I'm going to take care of it. And you need to do that, right? So then she's losing her shit. Whatever, I kicked the dog, I don't care, right? And coincidentally, my client that I was with was a very soft personality, and I told her, I was like, don't take shit from anybody. I was like, you got to stand up for your dog. I was like, don't be afraid of it. Who cares? She's in the wrong, I'm not. And, you know, she comes and starts taking pictures of me as I'm talking to my client. And I tell her, I'm like, hey, I was like, you should let me know next time so I can smile for you. So I was being a smart ass. But then I was like, hey, I was like, if you want to keep taking pictures of me, only afraid I take pictures of you. So I did the same thing right back to her, pulled the camera out, took pictures, videotaped. I was like, if you're gonna invade my privacy, I'm gonna invade yours. That's how it is, right? People are too soft on their dogs, just in general. I don't play that game. Again, 2 weeks ago, I'm walking down 26th Street. The lady had her dogs off leash, and she turned around the corner. I saw it a block away. She had 4 dogs. 1 dog was on a flexi leash. 3 dogs were off leash, and they're all small dogs, 20-pound dogs, whatever. Shih Tzus, and, I don't know what the other one's, kind of Shih Tzu mix. And she picks up 1. The other 2 are still on the ground. At that point, I'm already like 10 feet away. Sure enough, 1 barks and starts charging, and the other one starts to come around. So in that scenario, I see the one that barked. I go, that's the one that's leading this right now. Came into my space, kicked him in the chest. Backed away, walked away. The other dog tried to pursue. I turned, started walking towards that dog, gave him a kick to the chest. He backed off, walked away, right? And the lady's looking at me like, what the heck just happened? And I'm like, well, you don't got control of your dogs. I had 5 dogs at the time. I had my 3 and 2 client dogs. I am not gonna risk your dog coming into my pack, starting a fight. I got 5 dogs on leash. That's just waiting for something terrible to happen, right? So if you're not gonna control your dogs, I will. And I have no problem using physical touch to get your dogs to back their shit off. Because I've seen what dogs can do. I've seen dogs kill each other. I've seen dogs practically tear limbs off of other dogs, tear up their faces, pop eyeballs, and all that crap. It just takes seconds for damage like that to be done. It doesn't take 10 minutes. I'm not gonna let it get to that point. So don't get too comfortable. You know, you got this like little, 20-pound dog that's super friendly, and you're walking around with it off leash like, oh, my dog's so friendly. Well, guess what? Not every dog is freaking friendly. You know? Why would you do that? Because then your dog's walking off leash, turns around the corner, and next thing you know, there's an aggressive dog around there. And that's actually, I've seen that happen too. Now, I didn't see it, but I heard it when I used to work at a store, pet store. This person, apparently what happened was, this person was like in a toy aisle, looking at toys, whatever, and they had their dog on a flexi leash. They gave their dog the 20 feet or whatever. The dog ended up going to the end of the aisle, coming around the corner, and around the other side of the aisle, there was an aggressive dog, and that dog just went to town on that person's puppy or whatever. Just tore him up. Why? Because they got too comfortable. They're like, oh, I'm at the pet store. Nothing bad can happen at the pet store. Let me give my dog 20 feet of leash and let them walk around the corner where I can't see what's going on. And next thing you know, the dog got mauled. If you were to ask me like, oh, who's liable? The person who brought an aggressive dog to the store, or the person who let their dog 20 feet off leash, or on a leash, whatever? I would say the person who let their dog giving their dog 20 feet of leash. Why your dog doesn't need that much leash? It's your irresponsibility that led to that dog being attacked. The other person had their dog on a regular 4 to 6 foot leash. You know, their dog wasn't going anywhere. They were being responsible. Even if they brought a dog like that, it's like they weren't, it's not like they're like, oh, let me go in the same aisle as this person and stand right next to them with my aggressive dog. No, they were in another aisle. They were completely alone. They weren't expecting a little small 20-pound dog, whatever, to come around the corner on a flexi leash and just come into their dog space. You know, that's what happens. So don't get too comfortable with this stuff, people. Your dogs need discipline, your dogs need structure, your dogs need to be trained, you need to be trained, more importantly, because dogs only do what you give, you know, they just go about their day. They're completely instinctive. They don't mean to do things to be bad. You know, if my dogs are in the yard and a stray dog walks into the yard, they're gonna attack that dog. I know my Chihuahua for sure, 100% will attack that dog. Why? Because he is super territorial. Does that mean my dog needs more training? It's like, no. Whoever's dog that was, either they shouldn't have been walking him off leash, because people like to do that. They'll walk the dog off leash. They'll be walking in front of my yard. The dog pokes his face in my fence. And then my Chihuahua goes and starts to like establish a boundary. It's a territorial thing, right? If that person's dog gets bit and they try to come at me with that stuff, I'm like, well, one, your dog was off leash. What's your dog doing sticking its head in my fence? You know, they're instinctive. People don't see it that way. They're like, no, dogs have to be super friendly and handle every situation you put them in. You know, they have to let you pull their ears, and they have to let you pull their jowls, pull their tail, sit on them, roll them over, like all this stuff. I'm like, no, your dog does not have to deal with all that. Not every dog is fluffy and friendly and doesn't have rules and boundaries, right? Everybody has some kind of rule and boundary. Some people are real comfortable talking in like really close spaces and vicinities or whatever, and other people rather have like a 2 to 3 foot boundary. When I do my consultations, I'm not like all up in people's faces going, hey, let me train your dog. I like stand back 3 to 4 feet. That's like, it's respectful, it's a distance. It's like uncomfortable if you get too close. So I don't understand why people think just because dogs are cute and furry or whatever, that they can't have any kind of rules and boundaries of themselves, and then just can't say for one day like, hey, I'm tired of this BS. I'm gonna let you know about it now, and I'm gonna correct you. And I correct my teeth. And since you've been doing this for like 5 years, I'm gonna load 5 years of uncomfortableness you've made me have to deal with, right? Jesus, people, don't get comfortable with your dogs. Don't get too comfortable with your dogs. They're animals. Very honest. If one day they don't want to deal with something, they're not gonna deal with it. They're not gonna let you do it. So don't gamble. Don't put your dog's life at risk, because that's essentially what you're doing. Because then everybody always goes, oh, now my dog's aggressive. I made my dog aggressive, or my dog flipped on me. It's like, no, I'm sure there were telltale signs all the way up to what happened, and you just didn't see them because you were stuck in your own world, right? So that's it for today's video. I can't believe this turned out to 20 minutes. Wow, 20-minute video. So don't get too comfortable with your dog. Give them structure. Make sure if you're giving them structure that you have to give structure in their environment. And that's it. This is Jesse from Canine Perspective signing off. Goodbye.